Here we go. After a busy free agent week, we are back down to 1 hour on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. One very fast 1 hour. We are live on Sportsnet. Sportsnet's 590 The Fan, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, and Sportsnet 650 in Vancouver. And always Sportsnet Plus. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo. In a few minutes, we'll welcome in the new president, general manager, vice president. I guess are we getting rid of presidents now?
Well,
around the league?
Our good friend Luke Robitaille is the president, so.
I know, but in general, you think we're going to start weeding them out?
Well, MLSC sure is, so. No more Shanahan or Ujiri, so.
Just noticing your Jays hat there. It's a classy ball hat there.
Thank you. I have a lot.
That will be then the vice president of the LA Kings, Ken Holland, will join us.
Awesome.
All right, so breaking news. We saw Kevin Weeks throwing something out there and our very own Elliot Friedman. Do we have confirmation on a Mr. Nick Ehlers?
Yes.
The
Elliot
email release
confirm it.
The email release just hit my inbox as well, so it is now officially out there. Nick Ehlers signs with the Carolina Hurricanes, boys.
6 years, $8.5 million per season, so $51 million. He becomes their second highest paid player. Sebastian Aho makes $9.7 million. Yeah, I was saying to Sam before we came on, they still have $10 million in cap space after this signing with a full roster. So they got lots of, I don't know if they have the top end guys. Some of the teams that we've seen have playoff success, but they got a lot of guys, man, a lot of good players.
Cannot believe the money that Carolina is spending, because we have talked in the past about Tom Dundon being a guy that makes you work extremely hard to get your money. Mm-hmm. Most notably his head coach, Rod Brindamore, who has been negotiating for like probably 4 years before he finally settled in on his contract. I don't think he's remotely close to being the highest paid coach in the league anyways, but now we're watching him spend, I don't know, on two guys over $100 million in Nick Ehlers and, of course, Keandre Miller.
Well, and they gave another $50 million to Stankoven. So they committed.
Wow.
Yeah, they committed all that money over the next, 6, 7, and 8 years. So long-term plans, and the idea is that, to be competitive in this league, those are going to be value contracts.
I wonder
over time.
I wonder in that dressing room where some guys have been told that you needed to take less. Mm-hmm. And I'd put Slavin right there. Like, Slavin had a very good reputation for being this up-and-coming great defenseman in the league. I don't know, at the point where he was negotiating his long-term 8-year deal, a year and a half ago, that anybody would say, well, this guy's going to win a Norris one day, but he blossomed in the Four Nations. Mm-hmm. And now he's locked in at a contract that today would have been worth 10 or 11 million bucks.
And I think that's what Carolina wants to do. They want to see these guys and pay them before the breakout happens, before you have to go, oh, now he's a 10 or 11 million dollar guy. So that's what good GMs do.
I know it is.
Get value.
I get it. I just think that, for a guy like Keandre Miller now to become the highest paid defenseman on the team, mm-hmm. I hope he can act like the best defenseman on the team.
Yeah. They're paying him to be the 40th best D in the league, by contract price or whatever it is. But certainly you have expectations when you sign a $60 million contract. There's not nothing.
A lot of fabulous work to lose to the Florida Panthers in 5 games in the conference final.
Well, and that's part of this too. Is, I think they're better than they were.
Sure.
They're trying to get closer.
But if I'm going to get through the Panthers, I'm not going to be like, I'm signing Ehlers and Keandre Miller. That's not the guys I'm going.
Who would you have signed as UFAs?
Well, no, I wouldn't know. I know what you mean.
To get better,
but those aren't the type of players that I guess no one has success.
Where does Nick Ehlers fall in now? Because he's paid like a top winger right now, right? And
where do you think 8.5 puts him in the league?
Good question.
He was not one of their top players in Winnipeg. He fit in on the depth chart. Where was he on the depth chart in Winnipeg? 5, 6, or 7?
Yeah,
see.
I don't know in terms of usage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. We'll pick up
Yeah.
this conversation. In the meantime, let's welcome in Ken Holland, General Manager, Vice President of the LA Kings. Ken, thanks for joining us, man. I imagine, the last couple of days, pretty interesting for you and your new hockey club.
Yeah, it really was probably a couple weeks in advance leading up to July 1st, doing all the preparation and meeting with the people and going through our cap and what things we wanted to accomplish. Lots of talks with other general managers about trades. Ultimately, did something with Steve Staios in Ottawa, and we're pleased with where we're at and looking forward to getting to training camp. I'll work the phones a little bit over the summer to see if somebody slips through the cracks, but we feel good where we're at.
I want to get into a few names for sure, and the decisions to add depth to your blue line. But just first of all, Ken, just take us back a little bit and where you were when you left Edmonton and the thought of, what's next for Ken Holland. I got to tell you, buddy, if I had your Stanley Cups and your success under my belt, and most importantly, your money, Ken, if I really had your money, I wouldn't have touched another job like this with a 10-foot pole. So why another crack at running a hockey club now?
When we got into February and March, actually my wife asked me how I was thinking, Cindy, and I said that I kind of had the itch, and if the phone rang with the right opportunity, I'd be interested. LA was a perfect fit for a whole lot of reasons, personally, professionally. Professionally, I had a relationship with Luc Robitaille. It's a good hockey team, great ownership. Lots of really good players here. Rob Blake and his people have done a real good job in rebuilding the team. Personally, it's out west, and we're Western people. It's when I'm on a road trip, it'll be easy for my wife to jump on a plane and fly to Calgary to see our daughters and grandchildren, or go to our place in British Columbia. And we expect to have lots of company down here. So, I wanted to make sure that the move was good, not only for me, but for my wife. And so I'm excited to have this opportunity and see if I can make a little bit of a difference here.
Ken, I'm a Western guy myself. It's been fun following your career. I remember you used to be around the rink when I was at the Vernon Vipers back in the day, and seeing all the success you've had. So, with you staying out west, how quick has this or how easy is the transition from Edmonton to LA been? You probably knew the Kings roster and players as well as you did any other team in the league.
Yeah, obviously we have played the three series against them the three previous years. So you know what? I watched a ton of hockey this year, and I watched I'd say 6 to 8 teams closer than the others. LA was one of them. Because of Warren Fogle and former Oiler and it's out west, and I could kind of finish my night scouting with a game from the West Coast. So between our series and then watching them a lot this year, I had a real good feel for the team. They had a tremendous year. Obviously, they just haven't been able to get by Edmonton. But out of the 4 series they've played, 3 have been real close. And so, we made some moves here over the last few days that we hope make us a little bit bigger, deeper, and better. And it's going to be hard to make the playoffs. A lot of teams in the West got better, so it's going to be a real grind to try to get into the playoffs. But we feel good about where we're at right now.
You're watching and listening to Ken Holland, General Manager, Vice President of the LA Kings. Okay, let's talk about some of those additions, including Joel Armia, Corey Perry, and the one that many people are kind of wondering is the decision to go with Cody Ceci and Brian Dumoulin and not re-sign Gavikov. So essentially you're adding 2 players for the price of 1. So tell us the reason behind that.
Well, Gavrikov was a very important player on the team. We tried to re-sign him before I'd got here. Rob Blake had tried to made an offer and tried to re-sign him. I went beyond Rob Blake's offer. I guess ultimately didn't really get any counter offers, so I really wasn't sure if he wanted to be here or didn't want to be here. And then the last couple of days, it heated up. Ultimately, he made a decision to go to the New York Rangers. He was really important in the top four last year, but especially important in the penalty kill. Cody Ceci kills penalties. Dumoulin kills penalties. The team was good in the penalty kill last year, so we had to make sure that we continue to be good in the penalty kill. So brought in a couple of defensemen that have penalty killed in other situations. So that was on defense. And up front. The team struggled on the power play probably till Kuzmenko got here at the trade deadline. So made a decision to re-sign Kuzmenko on a 1-year deal. And then Corey Perry can help the power play. Both guys shoot right because everybody else shoots left. You're talking to Jim Hiller, it was important to find one righty, maybe two righties that can go in the power play. Corey Perry's a net front presence. Kuzmenko will play, off on the side and can distribute the puck. And then Armia also is a good penalty killer. I think he was one of the top forwards in the National Hockey League in time on ice last year in the penalty kill. So you need to be good in the special teams. I guess we look at the team that, up until the trade deadline when they added Kuzmenko, we've kept Kuzmenko. We've brought in Armia and Perry, and then Dumoulin and Ceci on the back end, and Forsberg is a backup. So, believe we're better, believe we're deeper. So, but you know what? You got to get to September and October. It's got to happen on the ice.
So, the staple of the Kings for so long has been Anze Kopitar being such a rock for that organization for years. And it feels like now is kind of the time for some guys to, I don't want to say pass him, but be more important to the team. Where do you see Quinton Byfield's development and how he's going to be used and how much you guys need him to take a step next year?
Well, Quinton's incredibly important to the team. Like you said, Kopi's 37 years of age. He's going into the last year of his contract and make a decision at the end of the year, I guess. I talked to his agent, Pat Brisson, and we said that we would talk, let's get through the year and see where he's at. Hopefully we have a good year, and he wants to come back. But in the meantime, Quinton Byfield is, he's a 6'4". He's a big centerman. He can skate. He's competitive. He's coming to the age now where his role and his importance, his time on ice, his matchups are going to be even more difficult than they've been in the past. And that's if for any team to take a step, part of it is internal growth. And Quinton Byfield is really important. Laferriere, Brandt Clark on the back end. Turcotte, who was kind of used, I'm going to say like a Swiss Army knife, was used all over. With bringing in Perry and Armia, we think that one of the options for the coach is to put Turcotte between those two veteran guys, and they played together in Montreal's run to the Stanley Cup finals a few years, Perry and Armia. So, part of this is to try to bring in some veteran guys, veteran players. Brandt Clark's going to play with a veteran player on whether it's Dumoulin or Edmondson or Mikey Anderson. I'm not sure how the coach wants to play the three different pairs, but have some veteran players to play with the young players and help them grow into more important players on the team. And Quinton Byfield is probably the most important of all those because he's a center iceman and has the potential to be a number one or a number two at worst in this league.
There's no question that, as you just mentioned, the succession plan for Kopitar, you watch in the playoffs, you still rely on them heavily here, but the mention of centermans in general and the shortage, there's a lot of free agents still out there, Ken Holland, but every team seems to be looking for center icemen. Where are you long-term, well past Kopitar on the search for number ones and twos?
Well, most of those guys are got to be drafted and developed. I guess if the odd guy hits the unrestricted market, they don't last very long. That's why Quinton Byfield is really important. That's why we need to develop Turcotte and see if he can kind of develop into going up the ladder. The coaching staff feels here that Laferriere, who's been a right winger all his career, was really good defensively. That they might some nights give him an opportunity to play center and see how he looks. But ultimately, those guys like Kopitar, they're drafted in the top 5. They seem to spend their whole career with one team, and maybe later in their career move. We'll see. I'm kind of focused on this year, but certainly long term, that's going to be Danault's 33, Kopitar's 37, and center ice positions are really important on the team. And for now, we're in a good spot, but we'll see what we can do going forward.
Ken, how does the success of the Florida Panthers change how you feel? Like, has your philosophy on team building changed over the years? I know a lot of teams now are looking at the Panthers and being like, oh, wow, they're heavy and they hit. Do we need to be like that? Does Florida's success in the playoffs change anything for you, or have you changed the way you like teams built over the years at all?
Well, I've always liked big, heavy teams. I think if you look at the moves when I made in Edmonton, bringing in Hyman and Kane and Perry and Ekholm, great big guys that can play the game. So, we got a young player here, Liam Greentree, that's 6'3", 6'3.5", 215 pounds. I just met with him this morning. He's going to go back to, spend all summer. He's got another year to junior to go in the OHL. They've done a good job here in drafting. There's Woolley, who was a late round pick, 6'4" defenseman that plays in London of the OHL, helped them win the Memorial Cup. I think ideally you'd like to have your team, your theme big and heavy, and that allows some undersized players or smaller players to really have more room to be successful. So certainly the Florida Panthers have the blueprint right now. Great job by Bill Zito and his staff. They're big, they're heavy, they're hard. They go to the net hard. They're the team to beat, and I think most teams are trying to, when teams win championships, and now they've won 2 in a row, they become the role model.
Ken, before I think any team in the West can think about beating the Florida Panthers, in particular the LA Kings, I have to figure out a way to get through the Edmonton Oilers. So I assume you have all the secrets now moving forward. The next time that they meet, you basically took one away from them in Corey Perry. But besides Connor McDavid here, what are some of the things that could get them over the hump the next time they perhaps meet again?
Well, first off, we're going to have to, have a good year and make the playoffs. I'm always nervous about making the playoffs. That's not a given. So number one, you got to make the playoffs. And then, like I said, as I look at our team, part of this is, Dumoulin's a big guy. Perry's a big guy, goes to the blue paint. Armia's a bigger guy. Cody Ceci, we've tried to sign some people that are big people. Need some growth from our younger people, the guys that I'd mentioned. And then if everything goes good, when you get to the trade deadline, then you got to maybe try to make a move to add to it. But, if you're going to be the last team standing, you got to be able to beat anybody, not just one team. But certainly Edmonton has gone to the finals 2 years in a row in the West, and they've shown that they're the best team in the West, and the West goes through Edmonton. But that's a long, long way away. We're talking 8-9 months away.
Ken, you gonna bother going back to the Okanagan now that you signed with LA and just hang out in Manhattan Beach? What's the Okanagan got on that?
Well, this Manhattan Beach, you know what? As a visiting manager, we come in, we land, and we bus downtown, and we stay downtown. The JW Marriott goes across the street and fly home the next day. There's a whole world out here that's never seen before. Manhattan Beach and Redondo and Hermosa Beach, and though it's 15 minutes, from our practice facility to where everybody lives, and there's no real traffic. So it's unbelievable. I'm excited to be here, and looking forward to getting going in September.
Pull out the roller skates. You got roller skates
and a surfboard.
Just doing curls on the beach.
Roller blade down to the beach and then take the surfboard for a tour.
Most important, where's your new golf membership?
Well, the good news is I've had some people reach out to me, so I'm going to be America's guest when I go play.
That's the way to do it.
You owe me a round. We did a home, but I haven't got his home yet.
Yeah, he's been home and home, so I still owe you a home game.
Thank you, Ken. Really appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck moving forward here. And in no time, we'll be back in training camp. All the best, Ken.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, good luck. Thanks a lot.
Kenny
Take care.
Holland,
Thank
one of the good ones, the National Hockey League.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Riviera,
but it's a lifestyle out there.
LACC.
Let's be honest. If that job opportunity comes up with
Yeah.
that same team in that same division, but it's in a different city, he's not there.
I think that's fair.
Everybody keeps telling me that they would have had the highest price for Mitch Marner.
LA
King.
would have. Yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
I guess
should have
you-
probably asked
I mean,
him.
he was right there.
I know he was
One
right
se-
there.
He was literally
but
1 second
what do
ago.
you
You
think
could
he's
ask
going
him.
to say?
Wow, we can't comment on another team's
Exactly.
player.
But
We had an offer out
they,
there.
God, every time when I was, of course, in my prime, single,
Mhm.
the schedule would come out. It'd be, when are we in LA?
Yeah.
When are we in LA? And how long have we got? Is it one night or two nights? And then
Ideally, you'd like to have 2 games with a day off in between.
Oh. it was
Yeah.
like the NHL's Disneyland. There.
Well, what year was it that the Leafs had a really good team and they went to the California trip with a good group, and Matthews, Marner, Nylander, those guys were just awful, and they got skunked on the trip, and it's like, that makes sense.
I think that
checks
was
out.
that was early.
Yeah,
that was
in,
early.
Keith's first year or something.
No, because it was. I remember they lost to the Ducks in overtime, and the Ducks were horrendous. And we came back and we were firing Prince.
There
We
was-
were being pretty mad about that one.
There was this one story in the 90s when the Leafs were on an extended road trip in California, and they rented a car and went through a drive-through and got held up while they were waiting for their hamburgers.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. A few of them were at gunpoint.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wild West for nothing.
Well, my favorite
That
trip
old
story.
White Castle, I think, did them in.
My favorite is when the Phil Kessel sunburn Florida trips are always my favorite. Whenever like they'd have a day off and they'd show him on the bench
Oh, my
and
God.
he's just beat red. I'm like, oh, we got no
SPF
chance.
-5
we
with
got
baby
no
oil.
chance tonight.
Yeah.
He's
The
been
worst I've
fishing
ever
and
seen is
golfing.
Adam Graves, who just,
Oh,
is Mr. like perfect. He just never screws up.
Yeah.
But this one day, he came in and I'm like, "Were you bobbing for French fries?" His face was like,
It's actually funny
Pretty
we don't
red.
see it more. with
Who-
LA
who-
interviews.
Who was it that we had on that was like, you were hammering him for being sunburned? Oh, it was
Doug Armstrong.
Doug Armstrong.
"Oh yeah, Doug."
They were just at the NHL's general managers meetings. He had the something about Mary thing you said.
Did you? So before we move on, and go to game time. Anything else you wanted to say about Ehlers before we keep going?
No, just I mean, to me he's a great depth guy.
Yeah.
But does now a guy that is known as a second or third line type of guy turn into a top end guy? Does he go to 18, 20 minutes a night? Is he
was
that guy?
That was a nasty goal. We just
Was
showed
he
him.
held back? Was he held back in Winnipeg because of the depth?
It's a good question. I think his role, I mean, I think it's a very different system there than it is anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And guys tend to either really fit in or really not fit in, right? Like, I mean, you think
Right.
about Mikko Rantanen went there and he's like, bye-bye.
Ehlers,
But,
yeah.
go ahead. He's a skater, and they skate there.
He is. Last season, Ehlers has 63 points in 69 games. A couple seasons with bigger numbers. It depends how you use him for sure. But at 8.5, you're not paying him like Marner's 12. You're not paying him to be Eichel's 10. You're not paying him to be that. You're just paying him to be very good. Go get us 70 points, skate,
Yeah.
make plays.
So we would
He's
put
immediately on the top line
we would
with Aho.
we would put Nick Ehlers right there with Brock Besser
Yeah.
in Vancouver, right?
and
Seven
I
and a
take him
half-
ahead of
7.75 to 8.5 means that you aren't our superstar. You
Yeah.
aren't our premier 1 and 2, but you can fall in right behind those guys.
It is a question of, can you win the Stanley Cup without having the top guys? Could you just have enough of the guys down below? And Florida kind of makes the case. They've done it physically, albeit, which is different. And Reinhardt is a top guy.
And Burkov is
You're right.
He's a top guy.
premier number
Okay.
one.
So this is the question.
Both ends of the ice,
Do you
the
have
best.
to have
Matthew
that to
Tkachuk
win
pretty
a
close,
cup?
too.
And I think it's been proven you do.
Yeah.
You do. And how do you get that? I think that's really hard. I think that's why they traded for Rantanen in the first place. It's hard to get those guys. And, they're the only team to win a cup. Was it 06? And they didn't have those guys then. Maybe,
I think they'll be extremely good again.
Yeah, I think they're
They're gonna be this-
definitely the Metro faves.
Definitely. Game time?
Game time.
All right. It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. Yes, Kyper?
Bet365. Jay's our favorite tonight.
They are not.
Oh,
Underdogs for the fourth straight game in a
Come
series
on.
where they have the
Sam's
chance to
just
sweep.
cashing in on this series.
I've been hot.
You had
I
the
had
Judge homer and the Jays win.
And
last
before
game.
I had Scherzer over strikeouts and win. I've been
Yeah.
hot. I did miss on the Ernie home run on Canada today, but that's okay. It was a bit of a long shot.
kind of a fun game last night.
Yeah. I
It was
mean,
a great game.
I mean, it was.
That's baseball, eh? 7, 8 runs. No problem.
Yeah.
Can I
There's like
say
9
though?
innings to get them all back.
Two things. I was lying on my couch and I was like settling in, got everything, made dinner, did all the things I needed to do before sit down. I'm like, it's 7-0. This is kind of boring.
Yeah.
Like a blowout. I was
It
kind of
got
hoping for, and I was like,
unboring.
oh crap.
Yeah.
But good. Sorry, not to go full Jays here, but good for John Schneider that they ended up winning that game because one of the more, and you'll hear more of this on Blair and Barker coming up at 4:00, but one of the most mind-numbing decisions in the history of baseball to not just put Aaron Judge on.
By the way, wasn't it bat by Judge though?
Oh my God, he hit that to space, but
Yeah.
they've walked him in every big spot for the whole series, and it's like immediately on 4, immediately.
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
I mean, he just looks like a cartoon character at the
Oh my
dish.
gosh.
He's such a large animal. It's
And when he
crazy.
extends those arms,
Yeah.
it's like
He's a stud.
stud.
Absolute stud. All right. So I'm going to the game again tonight. I know.
You want to leave now?
No. That's good. I'll take it. I like the Jays again. I don't know why I wouldn't like the Jays. Plus 110. Good price on them. And George Springer is having a brilliant season, and I like him to go yard again tonight. So give me a George Springer home run at plus 390. And that was Jays Talk, a.k.a. Game Time, presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds and find out why it's ever ordinary at Bet365. Must be 18 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Okay, let's take a break because we still have plenty to get into, including a couple of more signings we'd like to get into. Including after the break is Sportsnet's top 25 players.
Oh, I know.
I do remember I did
Now I
vote.
look at it and I know why.
voted in this. You voted in this?
I did, yep.
Okay.
They emailed me. I
But-
forgot to do it.
Clearly, we were like one of 40 people maybe to participate in this. So there's going to be a few names that we won't agree with on this list.
And one of my favorite segments that we don't do enough that I have invented, it's a really high tech segment. It's called True or False.
It's a good
And I
segment.
have a few true or false questions for you too. So lots to get into, boys.
Okay. Top 25 when we return to Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back to the program. The Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sam McKee giggling over there.
I have I don't have any hockey thoughts.
Well-
Hockey thoughts aren't in my brain.
The show
I
rudely
got some.
interrupted our conversation on our golf scheduling
Yes.
for the month of July.
I've got so many games of golf lined up.
You do?
Yeah. I'm playing.
Okay. Can we
so
be
much golf.
included in some
Well,
of them?
I'm going to Alberta. You want to come with me?
Going
Going out to my
I'd
beloved.
love
walks?
to, but
Yeah, I'm going to play with my beloved Lacombe. Got a lot of golf scheduled for that. Going to play Lakeview a couple times. You want to drive across the city, play Lakeview with me, Kipper? They'd love to see you in there. They love you there.
yeah,
They're always like, Sammy,
absolutely.
where's Kipper? Bring Kipper. They don't ask about
Yes.
you, Borny, but
Yes.
Yes.
okay. All right, I'll
Let's
get
do
you
it.
in. 7:20 Monday. You there?
7:55.
Ah, I got 7:20 on the books.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So, all right, where do you want to go here? You want to go straight to our top 25? You want to talk about a few more signings that
Let me-
caught my eye, caught your eye?
Can I read these ones off to you, and you can stop me if you care? Sharks Orlov, 2 years, 6.5 million per.
Yeah, I like that. Just 2 years is interesting. That
Yeah.
gives them the flexibility. What I like about what they're doing versus what Chicago's doing is they're taking hockey seriously. Like
Yes.
you can't just be bad forever.
Yeah. No, it's good
They
depth
claimed
for
Letty.
the kids.
They
It
claimed
is.
Letty
It is.
You
too.
need someone who can break the puck out, get it in their hands so they can play
Yes.
hockey.
They claimed
And he's a
Letty.
skilled guy.
Yeah, and they claimed Letty as well, which
Yeah.
is good.
Dude, nice favor for
Suter
Doug
signs a
Armstrong.
2-year deal with the Blues.
Who did, sorry?
Suter.
Suter
Oh,
from
yeah.
Vancouver.
So what happened there?
I
No
don't.
one
I
bid
don't.
more than that?
I don't think they wanted to go as high as what, 4.5, 4? What did he get?
The Canucks didn't want to go that high. Yeah, 4.5.
I don't think they wanted to get that high.
I think it's 8.5. If I'm not mistaken. So it's 4 and then 4.5 or something like that for each.
4.25.
Yeah.
I don't know what the AAV
It's
is.
just like, I'm shocked by that contract. Like everyone was like, he was one of the best available centers. I thought some teams, frankly, like I thought a team like the Leafs would like that, let alone the Canucks. So
can I throw a name out there? One more for the Leafs, for Sammy's Leafs.
Yeah,
that kind of Brent Burns.
Nah,
No, over.
I think he can still play, but not what the Leafs need, in my opinion.
well,
A little bit more offense, a little bit more
Power
jump.
play guy, maybe. I wouldn't have
I don't
hated
know.
it.
I mean,
What
but
number
the
did he
Avs took him.
What number did he get? I
2
didn't
A
million?
million?
A million? No, it's got to be more than that.
I think
Look
it's,
it up.
I think it's 2.
I don't know. With games played bonuses.
Yes, it is bonus late. I know
Everybody
that for sure.
wants to throw in that.
All
Just
right,
give me the AAV at the end of the day.
So it's a $1 million deal.
1
and-
million.
And there are bonuses. I don't know
That
what.
can get him to 3.
Okay.
Could get him to 3.
Value of
Yeah.
4 total, it says.
God, he's.
AAV is
There
4
were
on it.
times last year you're like, how old is he? And how many consecutive games has he played?
Mhm.
Like, he is a bit of a freak of nature here.
He can still snap it. He can shoot it.
And he
40
can-
years
he
old.
can still
6'5",
log some
230.
minutes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyways,
Hey, I saw,
I didn't mind it for the Avs.
not to go full Leafs here, but I read your article today in the Toronto Star, Kip.
Yes.
You were connecting the Leafs and Besser.
Yeah, Besser was. It's my understanding the choice for Brock Besser was either to go back to Vancouver or play for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Wow.
No wonder he chose Vancouver. It's
Yeah.
So
tough environment to walk into as Marner leaves.
then was it I read that it was a little more AAV shorter term.
My understanding is he did not get the length of the contract or the security out of the Leafs that he got out of Vancouver, and I don't know how quickly that thing turned around. And maybe it was the threat of maybe for Vancouver to see him in Toronto. I don't know what made them go long term, but he snapped it up as quickly as they probably offered it to him.
That was part of our interview with Brad Tree-Living yesterday that I did notice, as he said, talked about guys choosing not to play for Toronto, right? Like he wasn't saying like a whole whack of people, but he said you make your offers, you pick your guys, and
Yeah.
they
can
get
you
to
do?
make their picks. Yeah.
Mangiapane is a Toronto kid.
Yeah.
And the last I heard was maybe a little concerned about playing in this market as a local. And then we have
I don't like that mentality.
and
at
then we
all.
have Pizzetta,
Pizzetta. Yeah.
who is like
Yeah, a little-
giggling right now.
I mean, it's a little different expectations, right? When you sign for,
but for Mangiapane, you don't think like he's coming in at 3.5
yeah, I
million.
mean, he
like
scored 12 or 13 goals last year. It's like,
Yeah.
it's not like it's a huge. He's not a massive sniper that's going to come in
Right.
here like.
But that's why I think expectations would have been low, and those guys become the beloved guys. Got to do well when people have low expectations.
He'd be
here.
beloved in North York, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We do know that Toronto, or really outside of anywhere in Ontario, out west, it's not for everybody.
Mhm.
Playing in a Canadian market isn't for everybody. Brock Besser, one of the reasons why I think people in Vancouver are drawn to him is because he's got a little bit of Nylander where it's like, nothing really bothers me. I'm just going to go out there and
Shoot it in.
shoot it in the net.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go in the net, I get to try again tomorrow. And
Yeah.
they're not phased.
Yeah, that
And
is
it
certainly
takes,
part.
it's not for everybody.
But I think it's much harder on the guys who are supposed to score. Because when nothing happens, you're bad, right? By perception, people think you're bad.
Mhm.
When you're, whatever, Lorentz or whatever, and then you shoot one in playoffs, people are like, Lorentz,
Yeah.
in 3 years.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just a perception thing.
So you brought up this top 25 player thing yesterday.
Okay.
And I don't know. I'm interested to see what was sticking in your craw about it. Because I actually think it's a pretty good list.
You do, eh?
I do. Can we? I think Jake might even. Oh, look at that,
Nicely done.
Jake the Snake on
Watching
fire.
on television.
Yeah.
Dude, top 5 is kind of what you'd expect, I think. McDavid, McKinnon, Makar, Draisaitl, Kucherov, and then Quinn Hughes and Austin Matthews. chasing the top 5.
Yeah.
Do you want me to roll it from the back? I can go from the top, from 25 down if you want. Is that too long?
I don't know. Should we go for it?
Yeah,
Okay.
go. McDavid all day long.
Well, let's just start with 25 and go down.
Okay.
Zach Werenski at 25, Marner 24, Hagel
Yeah.
23.
Okay, hold on.
Boy, here we go.
I like Zach for sure.
Yeah.
I got a problem still, and I know his play's kind of dropped off a little bit here, but I do believe that Victor Hedman deserved to be on this top 25.
So Werenski ahead of Hedman for you.
I just think I just like Hedman somewhere on this list, and I get Zach Werenski, and he's good, man. He's good. There's no question he's
He was
good.
third
but-
place for the Norris this
Here's
year.
a-
But
Norris
please,
finals.
please,
But this
play
is
some meaningful games.
this
too.
is currently in the. This isn't like who's had a better career, Kipper. This is the
But-
best players currently in the NHL.
Of D-men on the list, there's Werenski,
Okay.
Heiskanen,
Hold on.
Slavin. All right.
Let me go through it here.
Okay.
Before I got so rudely interrupted by Kipper. 22 Bobrovsky, 21 Vasilevsky. 22 Bobrovsky
Hold
seems
on.
low.
Can you just slow down?
What? I'm never going to get through it.
24. If we're just talking
Oh.
about the best players and not who's had the best careers or the playoffs, you're telling me Mitch Marner is 24? He's not, I don't know, 12, 14, 24?
Yeah, 24, I would
This
say.
guy is top 5 in points the last 5 years. How is he 24?
I would agree. I hate to say that I agree, but I do agree.
It depends. You go through the list, and it's like it's tough to compare goalies to skilled wingers. And
Hagel's ahead of Mitch Marner.
I mean, even
For me, yes.
even Ovi.
last year he was 10 points behind him with way more goals and
Even
way
Ovi,
more
though.
physical, competitive.
Is Ovi even on this list?
No.
If anyone saw that picture on the internet the other day,
Well, that's a peak male performance, boys.
but
he's just eating a whole cooked ham every
he puts
day.
on another 10 pounds. He's good for 40 goals next
There's
year.
multiple guys in my beer league teams with better bods than that.
I am dying to see Ovi 1 year post retirement.
Oh my God, it's immediate. Okay, so we are at 21 with Vasilevsky. Okay, I'm going to get to 20 here.
Okay.
Miro Heiskanen, Jacob Slavin, Brad Marchand,
Boo.
little high.
Way too high.
Igor Shesterkin, Matthew Tkachuk at 16, 15 Ovechkin, 14 Rantanen. Anything? Can I keep going, Kipper? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay. Jack Eichel at 13, Kaprizov 12, Pasternak 11, Hellebuck 10, Barkov 9.
Okay.
I know he won the MVP, but I still.
I've got Barkov ahead of Matthews.
Got Barkov ahead of Crosby.
Yeah, I think both of those are fair. So Barkov's 9, Crosby's 8, Matthews 7, Hughes, Quinn Hughes 6, Kucherov 5, and then Draisaitl, McCarr, McKinnon, and McDavid.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to
Can't quibble with that.
no.
No, there's literally no quibbles.
I do think in terms of who helps you win games, you look at this as who helps your team win games. Ovechkin at 15, being the 15th, that's a name pick for me.
Totally agree.
There's
Totally agree.
there's no chance to me.
He did score 40, but he also moves around like
Few short years
That's all he
ago,
does
we
now.
were talking about Matthews behind
number two.
McDavid.
Number two.
Yeah.
He's 7 now, and I'm not sure he should be in the top 10.
Who would you put?
Matthews has sunk like a stone here in a very short period of time.
If I was going to do anything here, I would just flip Barkov and Matthews and put I'd put Matthews 8, Barkov 9, Crosby. Oh, sorry, Crosby 8, Barkov 9. I can't just talk. You guys talk. You guys are looking at me. I don't know something I'm saying.
Yeah, the goaltenders right now. So it's Hellebuck is the best rated goalie, then Shesterkin, then Vasilevsky, then Bob.
So Vasilevsky's there because of his reputation, not because he's been a top goalie the last few years.
Totally
Numbers
agree.
are really good this past.
Civ in the playoffs.
Really good though.
Civvy.
Right?
Quite bad.
So I have Hedman on this list for the same reason Vasilevsky's still on it.
Okay, that's fair.
That's all.
Okay.
Anyways,
anything else?
fun
to add?
list.
I do love that the top 3 players in the league
Ken Etienne.
from Canada, baby. True or false? I have a few true or false.
All right, it's time.
Let's just get petty right out of the way. True or false? The Toronto Maple Leafs will go further in the Stanley Cup playoffs than the Vegas Golden Knights.
Toronto will go farther than Vegas.
True or false?
It feels like they're both destined to lose in the second round.
So maybe it comes
Or
down to
the
games.
first.
Or it comes
Okay,
down to
hold on.
games.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let's. I like Mitch Marner, what he brings to Vegas. No guarantees on playoff success, and it's not because Mitch doesn't show up in them. I got issues with Pietrangelo shutting it down.
Aiden Hill.
And Aiden Hill. Like, is he going to rebound here? Do they have a goalie issue here? But you take out Pietrangelo, boys. That's a big hole right now for Vegas.
Yeah, that's that. He eats
And
a lot
Marner
of
ain't
minutes.
going to fix that missing piece.
You know, Shea Theodore, Braden McNabb, Noah Hannafin, Zach Whitecloud, Lozon, and they signed that.
I mean,
Korczak.
you look at their forwards,
missing
though.
someone there?
They really do have a stacked forward core.
Stacked.
It's a good-looking core forwards.
Marner, Eichel,
It's not as good as
Stone.
Florida's.
No.
Dorofeyev, Eichel, Marner, Barbashev, Hurdle, Stone, Saad, Carlson, Riley Smith, Howden, Sissons, Colasar.
Yeah, they're loaded.
That's a lot of good
Yeah, it's
forwards.
loaded.
But then you look at the D-core, and, the bottom pair is going to leave a little bit to be decided. But then they'll just cheat the cap and get a good guy for the bottom
Well,
pair.
they are
Really good.
looking to get Anderson, right? Rasmus
perfect.
Anderson.
Yeah,
is
he'll
the
go
name that
there
keeps
for-
coming up.
He'll go there for nothing.
Pull a rabbit.
Pull Rasmus out of their hat.
Out of their hat.
Oh. So, true or false? The Leafs will go further
I'll
than the Knights.
say false.
Okay.
Until I see something different from the Leafs lineup, I don't know
Okay.
what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'll
but-
say false too with my buddy.
Okay. True or false? Connor McDavid will sign a new contract in Edmonton before puck drop next season.
True.
False.
Oh!
I just think
That's exactly why I put this one in here. Kippy.
I think there's
I heard some things.
something that might just be questionable for him moving forward, that he might need longer than puck drop to
All right.
have answered.
So one of the things we do best on this show.
Mangiapane's not going to get it done?
One of the things we do best on this show,
Speculate?
Dakota Ring. We're really good at this.
Yeah.
Like we've done it for coaches for years. What Kip just said was, McDavid's not going to re-sign until he sees that they get a goaltender, a legitimate starting goaltender. And the Oilers aren't sure that they can get a starting goaltender in the summer. So until he sees that it happens, he won't sign a contract. So he's waiting on that. That's what I just did.
Love it.
That is as legitimate of a reason I can think of. There could be others, but let's start there.
Yeah.
I saw Oilers fans being like, looking at Sorokin they're like, oh, now that they're blowing it up, maybe I was like, give me
Beat
a
it.
break. Yeah, they're going to trade one of the best goalies. How old is he? 28?
Yeah. He's
Give
so
me a
good.
break.
Yeah, it's fascinating, though, talking to Jason Greger yesterday. I was genuinely surprised hearing him be like, hey, Skinner, like talking up Skinner, good goalie, still 27, among guys his age, no one like playoff experience. Like every stat from the Skinner in the playoffs the past 3 years is like bad. He's been bad.
According to everybody that followed on the trail on X or Twitter.
Or did they go a little crazy? I didn't
Oh,
see.
they were like, scram, beat it, get Valaket back.
But however, everything Greger said was true.
Yeah.
Like he's better. Like
And everyone.
Ilya Samsonov. Like who?
They've been to 2 finals.
And there's reason to believe that he can get better and be better. He's got the experience and size and blah, blah, blah. Although
Yeah, but
value tells he can't move laterally. In that
It's a perception thing, I think, for the captain.
and it's almost like the Marner thing in a way where it's like, even if he is the best option, people just are done with it. Like it's just, for their sake, they need a fresh
The
start.
one thing I am convinced is that him and Leon Draisaitl, as close as they are, the friendship, training together, all of it, they're just not a package deal. They're not.
Because that's what it
just-
was at first. Everyone said as soon as
I
You don't think so?
I don't buy it. I don't buy it. That I have to stick around because Leon stuck around.
Mhm.
I don't buy it for a minute.
Next, true or false? The Habs will make the playoffs for the second straight season. True or false?
If they hadn't made the moves they made this offseason, I'd have said false.
Okay.
But I'm going to say true.
Okay.
Like they went and got Noah Dobson. They went and got Zach Bolduc.
Yeah.
They got
People like that Bolduc a lot, eh?
Yeah.
Wait till they get Sid Crosby after the Olympics.
I'm sorry, what?
Well, true or false? Hey, true or false?
Hold on.
Sidney Crosby will play a game for a team other than the Penguins next season.
I'm liking the odds a little
Untrue?
better. I'm liking the odds a little better than I did maybe a few weeks ago.
Oh, my.
So you'd have
But I don't know what's
Suzuki,
going on
Crosby.
in Pitt, but something's going on in Pitt.
Things are going on.
What?
Things are going
and
on
you know
in
what's
Pitt.
not going on? A lot of winning right now.
Anthony Mantha's not going to convince Sid to stay?
Suzuki, Crosby, Doc, Newhook down the middle. No, Evans.
Wow. Okay. I mean,
What?
Everything's great.
so Habs will make the playoffs
Yes.
with Sid at center.
Now, hold on. I was talking odds before.
Okay.
Let's get back to
Okay,
Bet365 because I'm
okay.
just talking odds here.
So then, true or false, Sidney Crosby will play a game for a team other than the Penguins before next season.
I'm
Wow.
going to say false.
I got to say true now. Yeah.
Love this segment.
Wow.
I love this segment.
Yeah, that's big. You know, Pittsburgh, give them credit, seem to be acknowledging that they need to tear it down.
Yes.
I want to go back to Sid.
Yeah.
He's too good right now
Yeah.
to just
They have 90
be
points last
a
year.
babysitter for the next 3 years.
Totally
This
agree.
guy can play peak.
On Daily Faceoff, when they do the lines, his left winger is currently Rutger McGroarty.
If we as a league,
Ugh.
if
that honestly hurt my feelings.
it will be such a disservice to the history of our game if we watch him stay in Pittsburgh the next 3 or 4 years.
If I have to live in the world where I never get to see him play another Stanley Cup playoff game, that's a sad, dark world I don't want to live in. True or false, a team other than the Florida Panthers will represent the Eastern Conference in the Stanley Cup Finals next year.
How could you possibly say true to that?
I'll say it. True.
Who's
Yeah,
it?
you're just hoping.
Carolina.
Just hoping.
No, I don't.
Just
What,
hope.
I said this. Did I
This
say
is
it
as
off
much-
the air or on
see,
the air?
Picture yourself now behind the net with your eyes closed
no, thanks.
and,
Max
and,
Domi.
and throwing the puck up the middle.
Okay.
Okay, because that's all you're doing right now is you are throwing the ultimate hope
Joe
pass.
Domi's
A grenade.
passer.
A grenade. It's
A
it's
grenade.
a Riley pass up the boards is what you're
I
telling me.
said off the air, the best bet for teams to beat Florida is
Injury.
injury.
Yeah.
It's that Sam Bennett does get injured sometimes. Aaron Ekblad does get injured sometimes. Like they have guys that
Pull the spark plugs out of their cars. Like do whatever you
Yeah.
have to. You know,
but like, you know,
set up
three-
roadblocks.
to
Don't let them
to
get to
Cup
the rink.
final for 4 straight years. There's some wear and tear on those bodies.
Oh,
and-
stop it! Stop it!
I'm
You
sorry.
cannot end the
When
last
was the
week. You cannot end the last week being a hope passer like my buddy Sammy here and saying, "Well, they're going to finally be tired."
Well, Ekblad won't be
Right?
No
tired.
They're
one has
just
gone to 4
worn-
Cup finals in a row in 40 years. It's not like
Talk to your dad.
Yeah, I can't because he can't get off the couch because he's broken. His knees don't work. They actually went to 5 straight, and he couldn't play in the 5th one because his knees didn't work.
Okay, but they still got there.
I don't know. I think at some point, someone else wins.
They're
But
all in their prime.
Logically, they're
They're
the
not
runaway
outside
favorites.
of Marchand, who's got wear and tear and years behind him. They're all in their wheelhouse.
The ultimate luxury they have is nobody, them included, cares what spot they finish to get in playoffs. Like no pressure to win the division,
zero.
second,
Doesn't matter.
home ice
They
advantage.
can win anywhere, anytime.
Like when the Kings won their cups, like just get in and good luck beating us.
Quick thing before we go, I got a DM on Instagram from Sean while we were talking. Where's Braden Point in the top 25 players in the league?
Oh, wow. That's a great call.
Hey,
I think
okay.
I had him 6th on my list. And no one else
Quickly,
at Sportsnet pick him.
knock someone out and put him in. Pick your guy
Mitch Marner.
right now.
I'm taking out Ovi or Marchand.
Hagel. I'm taking out Hagel.
Mitch has got to go.
Get him out of here.
Send him to Vegas out of the top 25.
Have you ordered your 93 Vegas jersey yet,
I got to
Sammy?
tell you, it looks pretty good. It's a good-looking jersey.
Great looking jersey.
It is.
Okay, our
Ugly, ugly,
thanks
ugly.
to Ken Holland, General Manager, Vice President of the LA Kings. We are back tomorrow for our final show of the season.
Happens to be a Friday.
Can't wait. Doug McLean?
I'll text him.
All right. Have a great night, everybody.